LEGO gave us some awesome Marvel Phase 4 sets, but they completely dropped the ball with some of them. So I decided to take the challenge on myself. I created 3 brand new sets from Phase 4 of Marvel, including sets from Thor Love and Thunder, Black Widow, and even Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And trust me guys, you're going to want to stick around for set number 3. Phase 4 was full of these huge moments, right? But when you look at the actual official LEGO sets, they were super disappointing. Whether LEGO skipped out on them because of spoilers or just the wrong concept art, they have no excuse to remake them now. So let's get straight on into the chaos, starting with my Thor Love and Thunder set. And starting straight off with the characters, the first minifigure included is Thor. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of his blue suit, so I gave him the first suit that he wears in the movie, the black and gold one. I gave him brand new face and torso printing, as well as the same hairpiece that he comes with in the official sets, a smaller cape, and a brand new build for Stormbreaker, utilizing the larger lightsaber hilt piece as well as all of the axe accessories. To go up against him, I also included Gore, who actually doesn't have many changes to his design. The one from the official LEGO set was actually pretty spot on, so I just stole the torso and face printing from it and gave him a brand new dress piece there with some printing, as well as a scarf piece to go around his neck, which looks super great. And here are both the minifigures right next to each other. And here are all the parts included into the set, but let's take a closer look at it. Starting off with the main part of the build here, this of course is the Infinity Cones building. It is built like a small little modular building here with the back all the way open for easy access to the inside, as well as has some fun details on the outside. You can see off to the left side I included some barrels full of whatever Vikings love to drink, as well as a bench outside of the front so you can sit down and enjoy your ice cream. Since it's the grand opening, I also added some balloons out front. And of course you can see the signature Infinity Gauntlet, complete with all of the Infinity Stones held with the ice cream cone. Flipping the build around here, you can get a look at the interior of the build. Of course, I did put a little bench off to the right side there so you could sit and wait for your ice cream to be served, as well as the little counter there actually using a windshield piece for cars. You can see some ice cream in the little display there, of course, chocolate and strawberry, and the floor has a nice checkered pattern design to it. But of course, this isn't the only part of the build, as there are 2 other sections to it. The first of which is this Welcome to New Asgard sign, of course, as seen in the previous Welcome to New Asgard set for the Infinity Saga wave of Endgame sets. Now this one is a bit more clean and has this nice mound of grass around it with a little tire on the side to show that yes, it is a still little broken down village, but I think it adds a lot to the set with the little bits of rockwork as well as little stones lying about. Speaking of stones, there is a rock little jump pad for Thor, as you can see off to the right of the screen. Of course, it has this nice electricity blast for the bottom of Thor's feet, as well as a little bar that you can pose him on to show that he is attacking whoever he wants to. And of course, to make life even harder for Thor, I included an accurate version of the shadow creatures that Gore summons here, of course, using a bunch of different creature parts here, using some venom tendrils, some claws, as well as some skeleton arms in black. This is definitely way more size accurate to the movie, though there isn't as much detail as the previous shadow creature. Now that does conclude the first set here, of course, here with the action shot with all the figures and builds posed out front. Of course, you can see Thor utilizing his little action stand there to show that he is using his powers. And of course, you can't forget the box art, so here you guys have an Attack on New Asgard set 76925 with 315 pieces. It is part of the Multiverse Saga line of sets. Of course, if Marvel were to do this, it would not be part of the Infinity Saga, as this is the next wave. Now switching gears entirely into a more serious movie, this one is based off of Black Widow, and most specifically off of the final fight scene from the movie. Now the first figure included in this set is Black Widow, of course, and her minifigure actually isn't anything different from the one that came in the official sets. I didn't think really anything needed to be changed. I did give her her respective batons there with the magic wand pieces as the main part of the stick there, as well as included is a head print as well as hairpiece for Melina, her mom. Of course, you can actually switch the faces out there so they can actually replicate the face tech that they use to disguise each other. Also included is Yelena, her sister, of course, using the same face print that I included with my Thunderbolts wave of sets, as I think it does look still really, really good, as well as she does come with the same torso and leg printing as the official figure. I also, for an accessory, gave her her staff, which she does actually use in the final battle. I also included the Red Guardian, who isn't anything different from his version from the actual set, except this time just with a dark reddish brown beard. And I included an updated version of the Taskmaster using the same face and torso print as the official minifigure, but using my custom printed legs there from the Thunderbolts wave of sets, as well as that same scarf piece that Gore uses, this time in black. And now here are all the minifigures lined up as I just showed you. And now here's everything a part of the build, and how has LEGO not done this? It is literally a Quinjet. And I totally didn't strip the Quinjet and remake this ship. Getting straight on into the build though, here you have the Red Room jet here, and I think this turned out amazing. Of course, it has that iconic look with the rotatable ends of the wings there, which actually have stud shooters on the top. Of course, the cockpit can open up to seat 2 minifigures, as you will see later. The wheels do fold in and down, the roof comes off, as well as the back hatch opens up. As you can see, here is a closer look at that, as well as a closer look at the Melina minifigure with the just Black Widow torso and legs there. Of course, Taskmaster is behind her as they are flying the ship. Of course, the back hatch does open up, as you can see here, with a couple of the tool racks holding the weapons, as well as you can see that Yelena and the Red Guardian are in handcuffs as they are being transported to the Red Room. There are more than just these 2 seats, of course, you just can't see them as the other 2 figures are blocking them. As you can see here on the back, there is a little scene I created here with Taskmaster fighting both Yelena and Natasha as they fight over the Black Widow particles here, of course, to save the other Black Widows who are held captive by the Red Room. And of course, here's the action shot. Of course, I have Taskmaster following Natasha as they fly down from the Red Room. Of course, you can see that there are a couple of stud shooters in action there, shooting the red little studs there, as well as the serum is flying through the air. And here's the completed box art for the set, also a part of the Multiverse Saga, set 76934, the Red Room Escape. The set comes with 920 pieces, the largest one in this wave. Now, there is a reason why it isn't last, as I think this last set is so cool. Of course, in the background you can see that the Red Room is exploding, and you can see the jet flying through the sky. And now for the set you guys have all been waiting for. This is the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness set. For the figures, the first one I included was Doctor Strange. This is an updated version from his one that came in the official sets for this movie. His cape is in a darker red plastic, as well as the torso has a bit of a brighter outline to the little symbol that he has on his chest there. Of course, included is our main antagonist of the movie. This, of course, is Wanda Maximoff here, coming with her amazing red Power Blast pieces there, as well as all new face and torso printing. Now, the torso, I was going to do a blood design, however, it is oil in the movie actually, so to replicate that, I made some black smudges on her torso there with some nice bright blue, green, and pink accents throughout it. Now, just don't bring up her kids. Included is also Sorcerer Supreme Mordo here, being the exact same figure almost as the one that appeared in the Sanctum Sanctorum modular building, this time just coming with some dual molded arms as well as dual molded legs. The face and torso printing is the same, as well as I gave him a translucent orange machete as an accessory, as I think that replicates the sword he uses to fight Doctor Strange very accurately. Also included is the Captain Marvel variant from Earth 838. This figure done by, of course, Adam Lego Arts over on Instagram. His link will be down below. He's helped with so many of my projects, and I'm just so thankful for his work. Of course, she comes with brand new face as well as torso printing there, and for an accessory, I gave her the orange Power Blast pieces. Also included is Captain Carter, this one having a little less detail than the actual minifigure from the minifigure series here, coming with a different hairpiece, but the same torso and face and shield printing there. And of course, the smartest man alive is also included, this of course being Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. His character not really coming with anything to showcase his powers other than his enlarged fist there in that black fist piece there, which I think does actually look pretty good. Now, the torso is also done by Adam Lego Arts. He also comes with some dual molded legs there. And of course, for the final minifigure in the set, and one that was super fun to make, this of course is Professor X Charles Xavier. And for him, actually, he was fairly simple. Now, the chair build here is actually the same one that came in the X Mansion set a couple of years back. The face print is the same one from his brand new Star Trek minifigure, which is super cool to actually finally see, as well as the torso and legs are just plain green there with not much detail. And in case you forgot, here are all the minifigures included in the set, and here of course is the entire build itself, but let's take a closer look at all of the details included. Taking a look at the build here, it is built similar to those big epic battles that we've gotten in LEGO form, whether that be Civil War, Infinity War, or even Avengers Age of Ultron. The set has that classic black outline, as well as has a couple of little debris pieces scattered throughout, some fire, as well as you can see two large statues, which we will take a closer look at in the front of the build. Now, the first actual function is that you can remove the statue on the left there and move it around, as well as there's a little black tab sticking out to, when pressed down, it shoots up the actual stand. The other statue does also have a play feature where if you do tip this one little Technic lever, the whole statue falls down and twirls. It's actually built similar with the same concept as the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom set. You can see too that there is a bit of oil in the middle of the battlefield there, of course, as a nod to the Ultron Sentry bots getting absolutely destroyed. Spinning the build around, you get a full interior to the Illuminati building. Of course, on the main floor, it is the lobby. There is a small table as well as some just wall decorations throughout it, utilizing the Nexonite sword piece there on the wall there, which looks actually really cool. Of course, there are two glass doors. Behind one of the staircases, there is some more oil spillage, as well as off to the left side of the build, there is this really cool print that I created. The top floor features the Illuminati meeting room with 6 chairs. Now, I did not get to include Black Bolt, however, maybe I will do a set in the future with him. Of course, the tiles on the front of the pillars are all printed there, as well as there are all of these seats for the respective members, with the Charles Xavier one being yellow, of course, as his chair would definitely not fit. Now, zooming on into that left corner to get a closer look at the prints I made, of course, the one on the wall there is actually a look at both of the different Doctor Strange's injuries. Of course, you can see 2 of the hands there, of course, one from the 616 universe and the other from the 838. I also included the Sands of Nisanti there in a green little fishbowl design there with some sand printing on the side. And here you guys have it, probably one of my favorite sets I have ever built in LEGO. Of course, as you can see, there are a couple of Technic pin spots where you can pose these action stand pieces included in a lot of these larger LEGO Marvel sets. And of course, the final box art for the set 76935, the Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness Illuminati Ambush, coming with 880 pieces. Of course, these 7 minifigures included in the set are all on the front of the box, and I think this is hands down my favorite set I have ever designed. So why do I think that these are so much better, other than, I made them? Well, they're actually just playable and accurate to the movies. Now, LEGO often gets these concept images from Marvel, and that's what they have to base the sets off of. But as the years go on, we should be getting these sets, as they have no excuse to not spoil the movie anymore. So which of these sets are your favorite? Should I do more of these? Heck, should I do the Epic Moments collection type of sets? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see more custom Marvel builds, hit that like button and subscribe, because I've got some awesome Phase 5 ideas that are going to be wild to make. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.